the Bob Mills Weather Center, meteorologist Stephen Nehrenz.
As we mentioned, and I know most of you have noticed, boy, these storms the last few mornings have been noisy. They've had a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning that does cause some power outages at times. This shot from early this morning from Sapulpa, Gabe, who always has these just amazing lightning shots. Yeah, that tells the story. I could tell the same as I was driving into work early this morning. It was just, cloud-to-ground strikes almost everywhere you could see. That's been, the last few days have been those storms have been like that. Also, again, some storms this morning did have some hail with them. That's why we actually had, 2:30, 3 o'clock this morning, a couple severe thunderstorm warnings for some quarter-sized hail potential. Also, a shot from Sapulpa from Sarah. And a lot of the cores of hail were relatively small. We had a few spots where there was potentially some quarter-sized hail or slightly larger, and that's the kind of potential that we'll have to watch for with storms again tomorrow morning. Rainfall-wise, unfortunately, this swath of rain where it's set up, which is kind of what we expected, didn't really help our northern counties at all, where you need the rain the most drought-wise. So northern Osage County, northern Washington County, up into southeast Kansas, northern Craig-Newada counties, and Ottawa County, you didn't get anything from this. And even here in the Tulsa Metro, we were kind of dividing line. I mean, around downtown, it's closer to 1/4 of an inch of rain, but then around Bixby, over 1.5 inches of rain. Kind of the same from Pawnee to Bristow is a sharp cutoff there. Wagner, Haskell, Muskogee, Webbers Falls. That's where some of the heavier totals, 1 to 1.5 inches, fell in a short amount of time early this morning. And pretty much gone now. Southeastern Oklahoma, you've had repeated rounds of heavy storms here recently, but that's now out of the area. Still some trailing downpours in a couple spots for another hour or two. Back here into the Tulsa Metro, we are in fine shape as we look from Gathering Place. Really good park day, 79 degrees. Dew points in the upper 60s, and there's not a lot of wind. So it is still humid, but it's not as outright muggy as it has been recently. So the combination of temperatures and dew points, I think, are really good this afternoon by August standards. There's the cloud deck continuing to thin out from north to south. So north of Tulsa is crystal clear blue skies. Southeastern Oklahoma, that'll change for you soon. So low 80s to the north, low 70s and upper 60s to the south right now. We'll all be in the 80s. It looks like upper 80s this afternoon. May make a run briefly to about 90 around Bartlesville, Newada, up towards Coffeyville and Veneta. Upper 80s here in the metro, and we'll recover to the mid to upper 80s by late in the day in southeastern Oklahoma. Normal high is 94, so we're several degrees below that today. Now, from the humidity part of this is another reason why I'm saying really enjoy today, because unfortunately, the humidity comes back fast this week. I think even tomorrow, Wednesday, we may get back into some really muggy conditions really quickly, and that's not going to change a whole lot late in the week. So that means the heat index factor after today starts to skyrocket again. Not much of one today. Tomorrow, temperatures are still below normal, but the heat index starts to creep back up, and unfortunately, we're back in a pretty uncomfortable range heat index-wise late in the week. It's still August, so that's not exactly shocking, but it'll come back at us pretty quickly. Early tomorrow morning, similar to this morning, near and south of Tulsa is where storms look like they're going to be most likely. In northern counties, again, you're kind of on the lower end side of things. We'll show you that on Future View. And once again, we'll be watching kind of 1, 2, 3 in the morning tomorrow for these storms to flare up in that northwest to southeast oriented kind of corridor. Once again, a few of these could become severe with some large hail potential, otherwise some locally heavy rains. And kind of like this morning, we hit the mid to late morning hours tomorrow. They start to dissipate, and then the sunshine breaks back out. And again, tomorrow's temperature is below normal, but quite a bit more humidity. So that's when the heat index factor becomes more apparent. So tomorrow morning, also early Wednesday morning, and even potentially early Thursday morning, we have storm chances hanging around, although they start to diminish by late in the week. Now, we don't have any triple digits on the 7 days, so we can be thankful for that, but it will get hot mid to late week before we track potentially another front by the end of this upcoming weekend.